This video is sponsored by Mobile Legends Adventure. Hey, are you a gamer? Great! Then Mobile Legends sounds like the game for you. What more can you ask for than a stress-free, idle RPG for adventurers, which includes mysterious dungeons, mazes, less complicated gameplay for a more enjoyable experience? You want stress-free, idle gameplay? Mobile Legends has that. You can fight how you like. You can have fully automated combat, or you can manually control and command your own strategies to win the battle. There are abundant rewards even if you're offline. All you need to do is tap the screen occasionally to get the variety of prize pools. And don't forget about the 70 unique heroes that you can use for various team compositions to play through all the strategic dungeons to go through your adventure. And look, they know who they're making this for. It's got all the manga art styles just for all the dirty weebs like you. Hey kids, have you been a good boy for Santa? No? That's fine, cause Mobile Legends is saving Christmas. Right now they are doing special Christmas events that is the biggest carnival in the history of Mobile Legends, including the Christmas Hike, the Icy Brawl, and the Snowball Fight. There are tons of rewards and gifts that you can get right now just by logging in and participating. What more could you want for Christmas? Sorry mum, I don't need another pair of dirty socks. I have Mobile Legends Adventure. So, what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description to give it a go, and you can also use my special key on screen to redeem a premium 5-star summon roll. You have to reach level 10 to redeem it, so get it while it's hot. And with that said, let's get on with the video. Guys, I have a confession to make. There's a secret I've been keeping from you all that I'm ashamed to admit, but we're close enough, right? This is a safe place. I feel it's time you knew the person I really was. I play League of Legends. I know, I'm sorry, okay? I don't want to shatter the image of this decent, respectful human being that you have of me, but I just needed to get this off my chest, okay? I have such a love-hate relationship with League, or a hate-hate relationship with League, or just a hate relationship. I just hate League. What the fuck do I still keep playing? Because no matter how much I think I've moved on from it, there's been one single reason I keep coming back. I love esports. I barely play League anymore, but the esports scene is so good I inevitably keep up with it, and because of this, every so often I get the urge to boot up a game myself, and every time I do, within one game I get reminded why I'd rather watch a group of 5 people hating their own life rather than experiencing it myself. It's something I'm so into, I even attended the 2018 World Finals to cheer on my European representatives, where I witnessed a miracle happen in front of me. KDA debuted, and it made League cool for like a week. And then I watched my team get absolutely demolished. Of course, this isn't just limited to League. Evo, CSGO, Dota 2, not you Overwatch League, go back in your own corner. There are so many magical moments I've seen in esports for games I don't even play, and I think it's fucking great. Okay, we get it, Gigguk, but what has this got to do with anime? For the longest time, I've wanted an esports anime, given that a lot of esports is already riddled with anime-esque plot lines, and there's so much promotional material that is heavily anime-inspired, and given how hype we know traditional sports anime can be, translating esports into anime seems like a match made in gamer girl heaven. But competitive gaming in anime is almost non-existent. In fact, games are normally used as a set piece for a more casual affair, or it's just used as a base for another fucking isekai world. The gamers in anime are like pro gamers, but without the pro. So, what does that even make them? Gamers? Oh, ew, gross. Get that shit out of here. Oh, give me a second while I throw open my Secret Labs gaming chair. But a few years ago, China said, it's cool, Japan. Hold my Razer Death Adder Elite gaming mouse. The King's Avatar is about as close as we've come to an esports anime so far, and yes, I know it's not technically an anime, but a Chinese animation, or donghua for all you hip kids out there. But shut up and let me clickbait, alright? Originating from a web novel that has now been adapted into a manga, live action series, and of course anime, season 2 of the anime just finished airing, but with the amount of shows airing this season and the 2020 anime fan experience being not watching anime, it doesn't really surprise me that no one even seems to know this show fucking exists. So, I'm gonna talk about it. The King's Avatar takes place in a world where people play games for money. Yeah, Mom, it's really a thing now. I'm serious. Just do Do the Google thing. Glory is one of the most popular games in the world, being a super duper awesome game where everyone's friendly and no one calls their mother a whore for picking Yasuo and going 0-5 in the first 5 minutes. Our protagonist is one of the oldest and most decorated players the game has ever seen, but at the granddaddy age of 25, which I'm absolutely serious is really old for esports athletes, and unwilling to take part in any of his team's promotional marketing, even though he's still one of the best players in the game, he doesn't provide a lot of financial benefits to his organization. So his organization literally did a pro gamer move and fired him, which, I'm gonna be honest, wasn't very poggers of them. That wasn't poggers at all, man. Like, come on, that's not an epic gamer moment, that's an epic fail moment. What the fuck am I saying? Being forced to resign and stay away from the professional league for at least a year, he gets a job at an internet cafe, and so begins his new journey, as he starts a completely new account and climbs his way up the ranks once more, building up a new team of gamer girls and not Asuna as he plans his epic comeback on a bigger stage of gaming. From the basic plot description, you may think this sounds like yet another video game anime with an OP protagonist stomping noob after noob and, well, you're absolutely right. I mean, the guy's name literally translates to Battle God, for fuck's sake. What do you think's gonna happen when he starts a fresh account? This guy ain't no pog chump, he's a pog champ. Fuck me, that was an awful line. Why did I keep that in the script? Basically, the show is what would happen if you had Faker, Daigo, or any legendary player start off in the lowest ranks of their respective game and grind their way back up. It's a fucking smurfing show. It's Road to Challenger Anime Edition, alright? But if you know me, you know I'm not a guy who settles for your bog standard power fantasy anime. And what makes this show interesting for people like me is the additional element of esports, which is not something we've seen in anime before. Because the biggest problem I find with a lot of video game anime is, how do you properly introduce stakes into an anime based entirely on a video game? Like, okay, you could be dunking on the biggest douchebag of all time, you could be taking part in some sick-ass online events, fuck man, you could even be fighting for nationals. But no matter if it's SAO, GGO, ALO, CSGO, or Raid Shadow Legends, it's hard to get invested in the outcome of the game because at the back of my mind, I'm just thinking, yo, it's just a game, bro.
And anyone that ever uses the excuse it's just a game is a horrible human being. And is lazy.
It's only a game. Why
You're a lazy human being.
To borrow some shows like Log Horizon, which just has insanely interesting world building and mechanics, the default answer is just to make some nice little wholesome slice of life where the whole point is just to have fun with your friends and be a casual gamer. Or alternatively, just go, well, if you die in the game, you die in real life. Or, you know, just make the game into an isekai world where if you die in the world, you die in the game, so you die in real life. But the beauty of this taking place in the world of esports is that these are actual stakes we see in the real world. This isn't just a high school team where you and your mates piss about in your local LAN tournament, it's the real professional esports scene. Not only is your pride on the line, but so are player contracts and winnings worth hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars. And it does a good job showing that a pro isn't just about being good at the game. Some of the more interesting subplots outside of the game itself are just seeing the politics behind the esports scene, because there's more to creating a professional team than just getting good players. You need to think about marketing and hype, public perception and reputation. Signing big names isn't just about getting high skill players. Big names bring with them big followings, and aside from winning, there are more ways to grow a dedicated fan base. At the end of the day, it doesn't stop reminding us that esports, the teams and the brands are, well, a business. What I'm saying is, it's nice that we found an in-between from cute anime girls do gamer girl things, and yo, hold up, I gotta land this sick combo or I die in the game where I die in real life. The show obviously has a good understanding of the competitive gaming scene, especially when compared to other anime. Like, remember when Kirito was a god at SAO simply because he was a beta player? Well, there's a bit more that goes into that here. Of course, there's a highlight on APM and raw game mechanics, but what I especially like is the emphasis on game knowledge. Anyone who's gotten into competitive video games knows that at the highest level, there are plenty of mechanically skilled players, and what really separates the good from the absolute best are people's depth of game knowledge, which is shown as an equally important reason of why the protagonist is so OP, because he's amassed so much knowledge from playing the same game for 10 years. Not only that, but King's Avatar backs it up with pretty decent production values. For the longest time, it felt like any animated show that came out of China was a few years from what we'd see here in Japan. But King's Avatar was one of the first shows that proved the potential of Chinese animation. It isn't god tier, Ufotable, or Blown's level yet, but in my opinion, it matches up to some of the better anime out there. The series sports some pretty impressive in-game fight scenes at times. It's just too bad that there's only so much you can do to make mouse clicking and keyboard tapping hype. Like, there would be times where this epic anime battle would be happening on screen, and then they would cut to the real life characters, and it kind of felt like I'd actually say the biggest disappointment I've had with the series thus far is the actual esports of this esport anime.
Wait, what?
Since Glory is based on an MMO and not a MOBA like League or a fighting game or an FPS, we follow our main team as they grind their characters to max level, and honestly, it sometimes felt just like that. A grind. Because that's what mostly happens in Season 1. Look, I know we have to build up the team and their characters before we enter the league and everything, but I'm gonna be real here. I don't care how many noobs you stomp, I don't care how many records you set on your new server, I just want to hear an overly excited Korean man shouting, In Season 2, we've at least reached the professional level where all the pro players are interacting with each other, but the teams haven't even fully assembled yet or reached max level. So while it is nice to see the esports element being put into a game series for once, it hasn't yet felt like an esports anime. I remember watching Season 1 a few years ago and saying this wasn't an esports anime, this was an anime with esports in it. At least that's what I would be saying if we didn't have the OVA series. For me, by far the biggest highlight so far is a 3-episode OVA that takes place between Season 1 and 2, and as an esports fan watching it, it was everything I wanted. The arc details an all-star type exhibition event between some of the top players in the league, and it pretty much encapsulates the hype and appeal of a big esporting event. Even though it was just an exhibition, it was cathartic to see all the pros and the teams that were built up playing on a stage far bigger than any of your typical sports anime, even if it was just technically for pride. It was surprising how well it captured the energy of a big event like this, with pretty insane animation in some of the fights, signing off with a narrative climax that made me stamp down and say, yes, this is exactly why I wanted an esports anime. The only problem is, it just made me impatient for the story to get to a point where we get to see teams actually competing again on a stage like this in actual high stakes matches. Because if this is just a taste of how good things could be, it has the potential to stand up to the hype of some of our favourite sports anime. But as it stands, we are still grinding to get to that point. Look, I'm going to be completely honest. To most people, this is just going to be another slightly above average power fantasy anime with no difference from most isekai or magic harem high schools. But if you are someone like me who loves keeping up with esports and has been looking for that non-existent anime to scratch that itch, then I highly recommend you give King's Avatar a chance. To me, it's not always about finding the best shows, because part of the reason I got into anime was so I can find niche stories and settings that I couldn't find anywhere else. And in this case, if Japan wasn't going to make it, then I'm more than happy to look outside. The esports scene in Japan is still very small. Competitive gaming takes a backseat to how big the mobile gaming industry is here. Unless you're a self-proclaimed diamond-ranked gacha game player like me, also known as I have a big fucking problem. It's unlikely we would have gotten an esports anime, so it's times like these I'm glad that not only has anime gotten more international, but so has its influence. Barring the bigger surprise that an esports manhwa hasn't come out of Korea yet, the scene in China is still massive, with the infrastructure now mirroring more traditional sports, with league teams having their own dedicated stadiums in their home cities, which is crazy to think about. So it's no wonder an animated series like this had the chance to be produced there. Currently, Season 1 and 2 of King's Avatar is available right here on YouTube, officially subbed, so unfortunately you're gonna have to look elsewhere for the OVA series though. So, in conclusion, stop playing League of Legends! Hey guys, hope you enjoyed that video. Thank you again to Mobile Legends for sponsoring me today. If any of what you saw looked interesting to you, you can click the link in the description to download it today. And with that said, thank you very much to Alpha, Basil, Box, Elifol, Joe Augustine, Mike Elfin, Payne Patchett, and everyone else on my Patreon for helping to support me on this month. Alright guys, let's have a quick chat. So I know my upload schedule recently has been a little bit whack, it's not been the greatest, and there is a reason for that. I'm trying this new thing called getting ahead of the schedule. So don't worry if you think you've seen a little less of me. I'm actually trying to get a proper upload schedule of minimum of 2 videos a month, and once I make a backlog, I can focus on making it a bit more than that, or maybe just use that extra time to focus on bigger projects. So yeah, that's kind of the solution I'm trying to work on to fix my workflow, which I've talked on in previous videos. So yeah, don't worry if you've seen a little bit less of me recently. Anyway, that's it for me though. I've been Gigguk, and I will see you all next time.